Hello, and welcome to the circus, or this too, because for those of you who showed up earlier, I had a little nightmare on my hands, and fortunately,
Ah.
come here. Nope, you gotta come where your go where your fans can see you, you farce cat. This guy, this guy decided to cause me troubles today, and it was a combination of cat and human because lawn stuff and open shed doors and cats who decided to go completely to the very back of the shed and then decide to not come out. And I walked all around the block, was terrified, almost cried,
Oh yeah.
started a stream, stopped a stream, almost cried on stream for the whole hot 2 minutes. Yeah, you can have some extra snackies and your sister too. Because he was in there for like I a good 5 or 6 hours. Like it was a hot minute.
Yikes. Yeah. So Loki lived up to his name today.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was the trickster. He was a trickster.
Sometimes I really wonder what cats do. Like Odin will disappear, and then I open the door. 5 in the morning, Odin's just sitting there, and I'm like, "What did you do yesterday? Like, what did you do all day yesterday?" I'm so curious.
Well, mine are indoor cats, so I know what they do every day. I know where they are. And I walked around, but I'm like, this is the cat who gets scared and runs inside the house. Like, hey, butterfly,
Yay!
thank you.
Hi, butterfly.
I know my lighting's terrible. My camera's being funny. I was just like, we're gonna show up for like a half hour, hour max, not too long, because I know it's late and it's a school night for me, and I just didn't want to leave everybody on a cliffhanger. Sorry about that, dang kitty. It was supposed to be a cat, that dog kitty. No, oh yeah, Loki's a Loki. That silly trickster.
Cats will age. Cats are like they're like adults. They're like kids. They'll age you.
They're teenagers. Like I think dogs are like toddlers, but cats are like teenagers.
Dogs, that is one thing. Dogs are codependent. Like dogs need you badly. A cat will show up when they're hungry.
Yeah. Well, Freya Frufers is pretty. Yes, yeah, in the shed. In the shed. In the way back in the shed. Oh, I should. Oh, I unplugged my
Hey,
light.
Alibaba. Yes,
Oh,
the kitty was found. The kitty was found.
yeah, right. In addition to a kitty, I treated myself this week to a
Ooh.
box of Serger attachments to go with the. Not Serger, Singer. I have words. Because all of my sewing machines need a
Yes.
ruffler foot. And I filmed myself unboxing this, but it's one that's got the 4 slots in it, and I feel like this is like the Cadillac of ruffler feet, and I like go into shock the first time I realize what I have.
Oh, there it is. There's my camera. There's my bad decision.
Right. Oh, but she's a beauty.
I got really lucky with that. I got really lucky. I'm so glad that your cat's back. Before I go off about me obsessing and stalking, literally stalking a sewing machine.
You're right. We don't stock people, but we might stock the prices of sewing machines.
Well, I looked back. Well, I'm glad that you found your kitty. I looked back and I've been taking pictures of this for the past 6 months.
Oh god.
So this thing lived in that thrift store for 6 months.
Well, they weren't at the right price for 6 months. Who would pay? What did you say? $900? Like, no, that
On
she's
it,
a beauty, but
it has 900, 700, 500. Then they went from 5 to 399, which is crazy, which is just crazy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Um, and I wish actually you're a non-Californian.
true.
We get taxed for everything.
Yes.
So even though the machine and everything, it was half price, it was $50. they charged me $9 in tax. And part of me was like just shut up and pay the tax.
Yeah.
No, so true. So true, butterflies. So true. But I don't know. How do you feel about tax?
Uh, I'm mostly right now I'm gonna say I don't care for it because I don't like what it's being used for, and it feels like why the revolution happened in this country. But that's just me. Let's see here. And I did not hear there was a fabric store that burned in LA a couple nights ago.
They they have bad wiring in the buildings, just people living around the buildings, people living on top of the buildings. Like it's that actually happens all the time in LA. It's just like you pay like I pay more attention to it when it's literally the fabric district. Like literally.
Right,
I
because the
was
whole place is like a burn pile waiting to happen. Like textiles are flammable sometimes. Tax is needed to keep things going. It is.
I don't know, I'm kind of torn on that because like when I lived in Oregon, I liked how like when I paid my taxes at the beginning of the year or end, whichever one you want to count. But then I wasn't taxed throughout the year. I'm taxed by the government. I'm taxed by the stores I go to. I'm taxed by everyone.
Yeah, I'm a fan of like the flat tax. Like you pay this much on your something, but you're not taxed for gas or income or like why should you get I
We get taxed on
or
soda, like because they think you're gonna recycle it, so they tax you on the money that you're gonna recycle
right, you
on the soda cans.
pay it right on the deposit. It's so
But what if you
yeah,
don't recycle? And there's a lot of people who
right.
don't. I'm weird.
No,
I'm a
but well, there's
composter.
probably some person in need who's rifle. Well, hopefully your neighborhood's nicer than that, but sometimes folks just go through the garbage looking for those recyclables that you left in there, and they are gladly taking them back.
My neighborhood, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, has depressingly waged a war on homelessness. And as someone who has a
Ah,
bleeding
they're
heart,
NIMBYs.
like they don't play around here. Like I recently saw like 4 cop cars around an RV because I live off the freeway, and so people will pull off, and it's a nice neighborhood. So like, I could hide here. Man, I feel so sorry for people because they get swooped on by the whole force.
All right, because half the town, half of them live there, so it's like not in my backyard.
And like, it's semi safe here, so it's kind of boring. Like they're sitting in their car listening to the radio half the time.
Yeah,
Oh my
I know.
gosh. Okay. So sorry.
I Oh, I was just gonna. I was telling Loki I forgot to turn any lights on. I can't see. Can't find my ruffler foot. I did some stuff. I sewed this schmata on the new singer.
That looks awesome. That's absolutely you're like, oh, I just made this shirt on my new sewing machine. That's what it's about. That's awesome. That is so
Yep,
awesome.
elastic in the armbands because they were too floopy. It's based on like what is it the a short coat, short dress from like the 1700s or the 1800s or the 1700s, the 18th century. Those are the words that
Oh,
I'm
okay,
looking
okay.
for. I'm not wearing all the appropriate underpinnings, but old fashioned underclothes are modern day, like, we just wear this on the town. It's my excuse.
Do you know what? I always see those memes that's like, what's stopping you from dressing like this or that? And like, I think we need to bring the Renaissance look back.
Right? Yeah, I've got stays to finish. I've got all the appropriate underclothes. I have the specific manual for the 12 stitch ruffler. You have, oh my good, it does 12. I'm going to have to look at it more closely. Next week, I'm going to try to set up so we can listen to her sew and to see if I actually not I need to. I think that the her previous caretaker said she'd last been serviced 10 years ago. She sounds great, but I don't know if at some point I'm going to take the plate off and get into that like octopus wick in there.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I know if I just at some point I
I
should
don't
probably
know.
love.
You know, I do not know the technical term. I call everything the whirly gig, and like, Alibaba put in one of my comments about rubber about I use leather cording like it's 1822 on this machine, and I'm like, duh, of course. And so now I'm on the grand quest of looking for, because I have rubber in this room. I just have to find it that's meant for a treadle sewing machine.
You gotta have it all in the. Don't you have its own little box of like these are my treadle parts, these are my singer parts, these are my white parts.
I used to, but then like that was my singer toolbox. But then I started buying white, and they slowly like the drawers started getting confused with pieces and
Right,
stuff.
they each need their own home.
They do.
Oh my god, I was soothing my soul. I'm gonna have to. Drop the link in Twitter, put it somewhere. This gentleman, I think Cyrillic alphabet, sounded Russian, not another Slavic. His sewing machine tour and collection, I wow,
I
wow.
love watching those. I love
A
watching those.
fiddle
I have
base with mother of pearl inlay.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Fred
yeah.
Sanford is the one who got me hooked on fiddle bass. I'd only like seen them in places I couldn't afford to buy them. I have a quick question. What are pantaloons?
Pantaloons? Oh, they're well, technically those are a piece of ladies' undergarment that is like it's a bifurcated, generally closed crotch undergarment.
No, because I'm laughing at Butterfly's comment, but like I am falling in love with the giant almost pant look.
No,
I
that's why.
lo-
That's why
I
we're gonna
love it.
make Pluderhosen.
hmm I was like, oh, I saved it. I still have it.
There's those directions, and I cannot believe that on Kindle Unlimited right now, Janet Arnold's Patterns of Fashion 3 is available through Kindle Unlimited, and those books are like $100 a pop, if not
Oh
more.
wow.
And the patterns of the 6 just came out, but and that's the time. There is her looking at the extant garments and descriptions of them, plus her measurements in there, plus the tutorial I sent of the modern day written stuff. So let's make these. Wow, my lighting is
I was
terrible.
about to
I'm
say,
like a ghost right
is
now.
that
I'm
my
like,
glasses?
nope, that's my computer and it getting dark and me unplugging the light that I just can't reach any lights right now till my human comes home. So we're in the
I went
ghost
to the
land.
I saw a video of me 3 years ago, so I shaved my beard off because I forgot how much I miss my chin.
Right.
And then I went to the swap meet and I bought myself the same pair of glasses that I had 3 years ago. They're cholo glasses, but I love this look because I have a giant face. So I need the cholo glasses.
Let's see, Olaf. I'm not sure because it wasn't even written in English. I guess I need to go to my see if it's like we'll do a translate because spoken in Russian, written in Russian, no English here. I know. I will. I'll try. I will. I'll drop it in the description tomorrow or later tonight so that folks can find it later. I think all you have to do is cinch up the bottom hem. Yeah, they either cinch it. I've seen where you put like a casing and do a tie or elastic because that's up to you. You do you. I don't really. It doesn't matter to me. And or it's got like a placket and then you button it over with a banding. Luca, maybe. What? Oh, the bottoms I'm talking about. Pluderhosen. Let me see.
They're
Oh, I've got
awesome
it.
hosen is what they are. I'm gonna wear them.
They are.
They fit my
Oh,
pirate motif. I'm getting over being sick, so if I sound more croaky than usual, I am extra ill.
it's true. It's because it's real. Let's see here. It is. Oh, let me get the spelling.
And also, if anyone's wondering, I got this shirt from a thrift store. It's obviously from the 90s. I miss this style, and it's just big enough for me to wear. And it has a hood and everything. This is total 1992. If anyone remembers, I miss these shirts. It's so old that it's faded through and you could like see through it. See?
Okay, the spelling is Pluderhosen. Pluderhosen. And I guess they still use them for fencing.
Butterfly, I'm there, and we all have. The only requirement is that we all have to dress like pirates.
Yes.
Or pick a century. That's not this one. Or the 20th or 19th.
Yes, Pluderhosen. They I saw Angela Clayton made a pair a couple years ago. They've sometimes called in the costuming like pumpkin pants, but they're bell shaped, usually with some tapering above the knee, with the fiddly little. There's an understructure, and then the little panels, panes, so that the under fabric pushes out in between the strips of panes. So there will be lots of use of narrow hem feet in my house for the next while on that project, because I'm getting used to her on the. Actually, also the new singer, I've named her Ladiga from her hair. That's the family name from her home, so I thought that would be nice. Plus, it's Russian for warrior and some other stuff. Wow, my light. Wow, I'm like the ghost in the room tonight. My only problem right now is me and that knee pedal. My knee is so bruised. I
I was
either need
about
a
to.
knee protector or I need to wear a knee
Oh,
cushion because I'm
if
bruised.
you lived any closer, I have every kind of knee pad you could possibly think of. Like I have the new age ones with the cushions, they're gelling. I have the old leather ones that are handmade. Like
Yeah, I
I
need it mostly on the side because the
uh-huh.
front's okay, but it's the side where I need
Oh,
the cushion. Does Ronald McDonald wear those type of pants? I consider I No, it doesn't. Ronald McDonald just wear classic like
now I have to
clown
look.
pants.
What's the difference? Is
Well,
there is
the length. I mean, they're similar in that they're both poofy, but that's kind of where that begins and ends for me. All right, let me go turn a light on because I can't
Ronald
stand this light balance.
McDonald?
I'll be right back.
All right, let's look at a picture. How come? Oh, here we go. Oh, he's wearing a jump. It's more of a jumpsuit. At least that's modern Ronald. Let's look. Let's look at classic Ronald. Of course, they have Pennywise in there. That's still more modern. That's still way more modern. Let's keep looking because I remember the 1980s Ronald McDonald. That was my era.
You're so crazy.
That was when I loved. Absolutely. See, Alibaba, I know you're talking. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, wrap cloth around the controller part on the control. Awesome. Some tape of foam to that controller too. That would work.
I'm so lost on.
Lord Baden Powell. No, aren't those more those are Jodhpurs that would be the Baden Powell. Those are also similar, but no. Have fallen down the vein of giant hips, tapered calves, three different pairs of pants, similar but uniquely. None of them are the same. They're all completely different.
I have just
Okay, let me.
Literally, take
I
an
can get
Olympic
pictures.
dive into the world of Ronald McDonald. I need to put my phone down. I'm gonna get lost in a rabbit hole of Ronald McDonald. The modern Ronald McDonald wears a jumpsuit, and I think I might make that. I love short overalls. That sounds like
Yeah.
a good project. But I promise you, mine will not be yellow.
Okay, can I? So no. How can I do? How do I do this? I'm not a professional here. Wow, we're in the screenception mode. Let me figure this out better. There's a nice example. There's crafty ones, but
I have an Apple, and my Apple thinks for me, and StreamYards thinks for you too. So whatever I'm doing, it's literally because I spent hours teaching myself how to do it.
okay. Help this.
Awesome.
So it's these guys. These are less simple or more simple than the ones I'm dreaming of. Is there screen come back here? There's other ones that are cuter.
So MC Alibaba,
It's,
I've made 4 videos, and I'm thinking about making a 5th one. Do you know what really tripped me out? When I started making hammer pants, they call them harem pants.
yes, because that's what they are from the desert and the harems,
Well, I'm from the desert and I like to dance and pretend that I'm MC Hammer. Circa 1992.
right? These are not. There's,
I was thinking about making an America pair of hammer pants, but they didn't have the print. I went to Walmart, and I kind of got lost at Joann's. And I weirdly did not go into Hobby Lobby because I feel uncomfortable after my last encounter. And our local Joann's is a superstore. It's huge. It's on a hill by itself. I walk in, people are almost giving me hugs. It's because most of the staff speak Spanish, so they're just excited that like I do too. But like Hobby Lobby, man, they're a different breed. I Butterfly, that was like my era. When I see Bobby Brown now, like I had my hair cut like Bobby Brown. I used to dress like MC Hammer. I knew all like the dances and everything. That was my era. Good times. The 90s, they were so happy. Like right before Kurt Cobain became famous.
I don't know.
So
All right.
should I is it worth it to keep going on my patch pants? Like these are the next ones that I'm gonna start fixing on. These are
I
like 10 or 15 years old, but they still fit though.
yeah. I things like that are a labor of love, and the only you can decide when your pants are ready.
And like these, I'm never gonna quit on these. These are disintegrating, and I'm still sewing the
Sticking
back.
back to life.
You know, okay. So as someone who does Francisco, I would not advise putting red on the back of your pants. Because just some friendly advice. Thank you, Butterfly. I put them all together because I've been cleaning. I was sick, so I've been cleaning out my closet. Like,
Right, getting more
having
dust and just if we're not going to feel good, we're going to do this the self-induced and not self-induced while we're at it.
I can't just sit here. I'm so ADD. I lay down and I'm like, okay, the medicine's working. Let me get up. Like these things are so old. Like I just but the second I saw this, I was like, oh, here we go, another project. Oh, these red ones is what I wanted to show. I like when they're more wild than theme, because now I have to keep the theme up with these pants because it's all red and black.
Oh,
I love San Cisco. San Cisco is like slow stitching is an absolute love of mine.
right, which is why you will never stop being finished patching pants. Because, like,
I just feel bad because I start working on one and I'm like, I notice an imperfection on another and then another and like
well, that's when you have to be a monogamous sewer for a little while.
I think you know what you brought up a very good point. I need to pick a project and stick with it
Oh,
because I like right now I'm gonna I want to restart on my Dr. Patch jacket that I found that I forgot that was from like a year and a half ago. But where's the patch I was gonna put on it?
yeah,
There's
it's very unlike me to have like this giant flower cape plus a quilted jacket. Like, I don't usually have more than one project that's going to take me hundreds of hours to do. I try to keep it to one because I like things to get finished. Any tips on rewiring a white featherweight? I've done it once, about to do it two more times. Yikes. Good luck. And please tell me
okay.
what you learned from Allie, because that question was not directed at me.
How old and frayed are the wires? Can you and this is just rough shot. Can you take the can you cut it and take two sides and put them together? Like cut out the crummy parts and then rewire it because that's what I do sometimes. It's just a simple repatch and it makes me look like a technician, but all I really did was just cut out the bad parts. So it depends on how old it is. If it has that cotton wadding that I didn't know until Alibaba said it was cotton wadding. It's in all of them. I had no idea.
You're like, oh, I need to get more wiring.
I will. You know what? There are so many different machines I want. Like I want to get the t-shirt maker, but then I'm like, I need to open a business if I do that. Not very
Yeah.
knowledgeable about those. Why? Yeah. Why? I have a question. Before actually, I want to finish what um we were saying to Butterfly. When you rewire something, you just have to make sure it's unplugged and you know positive and negative together. No, because I started off not knowing what I'm doing, and I slowly started figuring it out over time because it's not sewing machines are not that complicated.
No, but there, I was just watching, was it,
They are, but
I can't remember
sorry.
if it was Bob Fowler or somebody else. I was just watching somebody, it was like going to electrical sewing machine school. So it was interesting because like they were, for the motor, like that singers, their hots are 1 and 3, and somebody else it's 1 and 2. Like they all look the same, but they're all different. So really, yeah, you got to know which machine because they don't all work with the same
Thank goodness.
wicks. No, after wire, it was my machine. I could, but I'm doing it for a customer. The copper is
Hmm.
showing only in the power. Oh yeah, yep. No cheap fixes for customers.
I haven't had much success rewiring white. I tell it all the time because it was traumatizing. I almost set this garage on fire, like stupidly plugging in that sewing machine. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess I had to learn the lesson that day. Oh, I wish it was recording. Isaiah and I, we were like Beavis and Butthead, Wayne and Garth, all of them wrapped into one. Like, oh, let's just say I'm glad my eyebrows came back.
Right.
We did a color schematic last time, so hopefully better this time.
Oh,
That's
that'll
a
help.
yeah.
Yep, drawing pictures, recording what you do. But then it also it's like that's important, but also having the experience to be over time to know like this is not the way it's supposed to be, and I've seen this before, and that's a different level of knowledge and skill that I do not claim to have, at least in this area.
I have a tester. It's just buried. I'm the son of an electrical engineer. I just need to pull it out. That's all I really need to do. I am the. I can't believe I'm admitting this. Butterfly's gonna laugh. At my job, they call me tool time. I'm the real life Tim Allen because the people before me could build anything. I think I can. And spoiler, I can't. I am the real life tool. Like, more power is my middle name. So I have a tester. I'm all impulse. So I'm like, oh, let's just plug it in. I can fix the breaker. Let's just see what happens.
Oh, yeah, that scene feels reckless to me, but
Well,
I,
it's also because this room was built by an electrical engineer, so it has a backup. So
right, that's right. There, you got legs up that I don't have.
I
Plus,
can get crazy in here. If I did it in the house, I'm a
that's yeah. The
I'm a,
will's written out. The kid, no, the kid's out, not home.
oh, he would freak, and the honeysuckle's grown over, so I'd have to walk over to the meter on the other side. And that's where Odin lives over there. It would be all a disaster.
Yeah,
Oh, I say it's not reckless if it, well, see, that's the hillbilly in me. I was raised by a hillbilly. Hey, skids.
hey, hey.
So it's not reckless if it works, you know. But I've learned over time. I no longer plug these things in just like right from the jump. I've
I,
learned.
well, yeah, because there's no old. It's like there's no, there are no old, bold mushroom hunters.
Around here the saying is there's no half-ass old gunfighters.
That either.
Man, I haven't heard that in forever. I have not heard that in forever. Now you're making me think of all the crazy things I've done over the years of with sewing machines. There was a white that was like the Japanese clone white.
Yeah,
Every time I plugged it in, it shocked me.
yeah.
And
That
then
should have been a message that something's not quite right here.
a friend of mine was like, "Hey, then why don't you not plug it in and then
Right?
troubleshoot?"
You figure it out
Oh,
first.
that was on the old live streams. I wish I'd kept those. Like, well, actually, they're all privatized. One day I'll break down
You'll just
and
put them on Rumble.
open. Well, they're with people that I'm not friends with anymore. I have a
Oh,
question, and I asked this
okay.
in the group. Is it okay for somebody, and keep in mind my answers, I really don't care, but like, is it okay for someone to share my likeness if I was on a show with them 3 almost 4 years ago? It was their show, but now they cut up segments and they keep it fresh on their channel. We hate each other. We've had this person, I had a
You know what?
falling out.
I might have to default. Oh, sorry, I was interrupting.
Oh,
Um,
no, no, please go
but
ahead.
if there's no formal signed agreement for likeness usage, and it's on, and they're the host, and there's no agreement, technically I would go with the contents theirs.
That's what I feel. Like, I agreed to go on his show. It
Right,
like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I got exposure. A bunch of people, like, I got like they got everything they wanted, and I got everything I wanted from it.
right. So if it doesn't sound like it's hurting you, so A, on my above statement, and B, it sounds like everybody gained from it. So why be a brat? It
Exactly. I
doesn't make
commented.
sense.
I said something positive. I was like, "Ooh, I'm so gonna shave." I said something positive. And and somebody actually said something negative about me. Do you know what I said, Phoenix? I said, "Please be kind to yourself and drink lots of water."
Right? Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah.
I'm not mad at anybody. Like people have all these lies about me. I can do nothing but live my. I literally sew. I make spants and coats. I'm a spants guy now.
Right, because you don't need any coats. You could wear. You should do an outfit of the day and see how many days it goes before you actually have to repeat a coat.
I actually I need to do that with pants and shirts too because I own over 200 or 300 black shirts.
Okay, so it might be time to wear each of them and have a come to come to
But
closet moment.
last year I donated over 300 pieces, so I don't feel guilty. Like I chopped half my closet in half and donated it to people where I knew it'd go straight to the streets to help
Yeah.
people, I agree, Skits. And you know what? Like, I forgot how brilliant I am, and I said some really funny things on that show. So I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Like, and they didn't chop it up. So it was just weird because they tagged me, and I'm like, you hate me. Why are you tagging me? And I looked, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that kid exists. That was 3 years ago. He
Well,
was
actually,
scared.
at this point, then it should be like, thanks for considering to shout me out, like to tag me and not let me know. Like, that was thoughtful that they took the time to let you know.
Exactly. And you know what? In the end, it's all a business. We're all trying to get views.
Right?
We're all trying to
It's
get.
all
See,
here
I'm not.
for clicks and stitching.
I'm a Spance guy now. That is like what I say on the porch to the ex. I'm a Spance guy now. I've moved on.
I know.
Oh,
My ruffler foots are sewing great, except so I cut all these strips to make this
oh, that's
red,
awesome.
white, and blue over the top irreverent petticoat because red, white, and blue 4th of July irreverencies, whatever petticoats. So I did the narrow rolled hem on the top and the bottom. And for whatever reason, my ruffler feet do not like that I put the hem in first. But if I don't put the hem in first, how do I finish that seam? And
You
I'm
can't.
not unripping it so I can ruffle it first. So I'm using my other shove the fabric in and stitch over it foot, which is working just fine, but Jesus.
Sewing is funny that way. So I have a million patches, things I make into patches. Oh, let me get Dr. Patch. Oh. So
Oh, my shirring foot. That's what it is.
I made
Such a nice
this
ruffle.
in a video a couple years ago. Gosh, it was like 2 years ago I made this. And I was gonna use this to dump all the patches I don't use on it. So I was thinking about
Okay. Yeah, so I did this.
but I was
How
thinking
did I
about
do
putting
this one?
this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go. Oh, yeah, this ruffle looked nice. You go ahead now.
I was just gonna put this as the back patch. Because to show my age. Because I'm obsessed with Pearl Jam. Obsessed. Don't judge me. I'm in my 40s. I've been watching a podcast with these women that are in their 40s and they're like I'm sorry, they're in their like early 50s and this woman was like, Madonna broke my heart today. And she had a
Oh,
45-minute rant about cat face and like when you need to put it down. She's like, we're the same age. You need to put it down sometimes.
yeah. I know that's funny because the ruffle worked nice on this fabric. This is a nasty old sheet that was getting torn up on Latigo, but I don't know. Whatever. It's a
always,
petticoat.
always,
Who cares?
always do a tester, like Alibaba said.
Did you try to lessen the pressure on the ruffler? That can help. I'll do that on the next strip. Let me take it under advisement. And I
Oh,
lessen the pressure on with this screw at the top here. Maybe. I turned 40 in 2 weeks. Shush up, baby.
the Darth Vader music is gonna start playing when you join that club. Dun, 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 dun. Come to the dark side. We have
We
we
have
have
sewing
cake.
machines.
I'm cheap. You can lure me with cake and orange juice.
Yeah. I
Oh.
would do with fresh garden tomatoes and a real dill cucumber salad.
I have a weird question for you. Are you an orange juice person?
um, no,
Some
not
people.
generally. Okay, the presser foot pressure. That no, because I do. Uh, would that
Man,
be with the bar? I don't even know where I would go to. I mean, I guess I sort of know, but do I deal with the screw at the top or the screw one of these screws at the bottom?
Skits is here, so I have to show him in real time. There's my latest bad decision. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, so this machine is a 1951 Singer sewing machine that came with a motor. It came with an actual plate that holds the thread, but this person turned it into a treadle machine, so I might keep it as it is. Because it works perfectly and it's been only used as a treadle, at least recently, you know.
Then just keep it as a treadle. The end time. What if there's no electricity? You need a machine that works. Oh, this is the one that's bent. Okay, I need to. I think unbend my I see what's going on. I've been abusing my ruffler feet, and they're. I need to unbend them. How do I?
Skits, I grew up around senior citizens. That early bird special is real. I was raised by senior citizens. And I'm not kidding you. My parents were considerably older than me. So that early bird special is awesome. And I'll never forget the day they carded my parents for a senior discount, and they both were like, "Oh, you're carding us? We just look old."
If the does the hand wheel have spokes? If so, it was most likely treadle from the start.
Let me look. That's a very. No, it has the motor mount and everything. And when I put my Singer motor up to it, the 1950s motor, it fits perfectly in the slot. So they took pieces off and were like, "Oh, it's a black Singer." It's obviously a treadle. But these machines were made for dual purpose because it has the line in it. And no, I'm not being technical. What do you call that? I'm not being technical.
Line? You mean the
I call it leather cording because that's what I use.
right? No, that's what it is. Yeah, it's got the cord. Why do some of the sewing machines that have motors have cords also, and they weren't designed to be anything but electrical? I'm confused. That all had to the motor mount. Really, that is for the hand crank. Oh, so maybe it was. So it is a.
Wow.
Just keep her a treadle.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? Honestly, I watched Toy Story too many times with Isaiah because I'm an extremely cynical person. But I felt sorry for the sewing machine. It just sat there every.
Right.
Maybe
That's
I'm
the
just
one
a
you should paint her, put stickers all over her, make her be irreverent with her, and be like, "Hello, beauty."
That's
You
why
are home.
that's why I've kept it in all its original. That's why I've kept it the way it is because, and that's another thing. The table and everything underneath is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So whoever had this before took care of it and they loved it. So I'm going to return the favor. But this is why before I pass, I'm donating everything to a museum. Or I'm gonna find Fred Sanford's kid or his cousin or something. You can have all my stuff for free. Just make sure it sews.
Yep.
Because
the electrical use the belts so it can slip early in the use leather belts on the electrics too. Awesome. You thank you for learning me stuff because I did not intend on falling down to this hole of
I was actually waiting
enjoying to sew on old-fashioned sewing machines. That's the rebuilding. I'm not fully there because this. Oh, she's off camera. I should just take my Eldridge off. She scares me. We need to undo the wirings, and if I need a soldering iron, I'm screwed.
Butterfly 401As are on my long list of holy grail sewing machines. I absolutely love a 401A. That's like one of the coveted machines in this room.
Oh, I heard about this brand. Who I want a Phoenix sewing machine. There's this brand that I saw today. I would like a Phoenix because
If I
that would
ever
be. Hello, welcome to the Phoenix's the Circus Schmata Shop. It's Phoenix, and I sew on a Phoenix. Like, does is this just a Soviet bloc machine? Can I get one of these?
I wonder about that all the time. I'll keep an eye out, even though I live in the land that Singer owns. Like in LA, um, Singer must have just had a monopoly on this area.
You think it was a monopoly or the early um, prop houses for movies that needed sewing machines?
True. That is true. That is true because I buy a lot of leftovers from movie studios. Just like I have a Hughley jumpsuit from the show The Hughleys. I didn't work on the show. I got that at a thrift store, at a random
Yeah.
thrift store too. You're right. No, it's not Soviet. It's German. Ooh. See,
Okay.
Alibaba. You are the
I
mayor.
could
You
throw
are
this around. I'm like, I learned this thing today, and Allie's like, "Yup, hold my cocktail, hold my coffee. I know what this is. You
It's the
are
Phoenix
amazing."
decals. Oh, the decals are cool. I have to look it up now. I waited for
No, Phoenix
Alibaba to
is the
comment.
brand, not the decals.
I waited for Alibaba to comment on my picture because I had a few questions.
But I mean, I did see that Finger has seen like Firebird decals, but no, this was the brand was Phoenix.
Let me look that up.
And I
Ooh,
was
there's
like, "Why,
quite a
yes, please."
few. Oh, Do you know what? I love it when someone says, "Oh, this is rare" on eBay. Like, bro, it's rare to you. It's rare
Right?
to you.
You've never seen one, but I've got 50.
Exactly. Someone like, especially with these 1950s singers, someone would be like, "Oh, a rare, bro. I got 9 of them. Like,
I
they're
want a
not rare."
Phoenix 10. Okay, where's my phone? If this is what I
Oh, that's
want, let me.
cool. Is it? Hold on, let me see if I can make it bigger. Is it this?
I, this was older. I don't know. I just like the brand. I don't know what I want. I just.
They have a wide. Hold on, let me go to the pictures. There's a Phoenix was a they were a brand. Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
there's
Now,
my other. Oh, damn.
ooh, ooh,
Yeah,
look at that.
I know. They're so just different. It's the same,
Oh,
but
that's
different.
that's beautiful. I
I
you
know.
know I collect sewing machines, so I'm like, ooh, something new, something I've never heard of. That's awesome.
I was like,
I go looking for these. I go looking for off-brand sewing machines, but like I said, like Singer owns this area. Like, so everything I find is a Singer sewing machine.
I say they're rare. I can't roll my eyes hard enough if
Yeah,
they're.
so exactly, butterfly.
I know. Well, I think somebody took off that Morse, or they unlisted on Craigslist, or I didn't scroll back far enough because $200 for a machine that they're like, I don't even know if this works around here. You can't do that.
what so I know there's like a real cutoff, but what counts as antique?
This is very specific. Isn't
Drives me
vintage like
crazy.
40 years and then 41 years and plus? Is oh shit? Does that make us antiques? Does that make us vintage already? Fuck.
Oh,
No, for
I'll
okay,
put my glasses on for that. I'm sick. I'm sick and
I'm
sensitive.
sick and
Oh,
tired. I need to go
Elizabeth.
sleep in my Tupperware. Fred Sanford, come pick up this trash.
Oh man. No, because it bothers me when someone will say, "There's just this vintage Japanese sewing machine." Man, that's from 1979.
Right.
That's from
Yeah.
1979. Like, let's really, I understand the upselling, but the wording drives me crazy sometimes because they add zeros because
Oh,
they think
right.
it's
And they need to be subtracting zeros and then dividing it by 50. Yeah, I would love a Phoenix. If somebody has an eye out for one, because I live in a very narrow area, let me know what it if if it looks serviceable, and we will make funding happen because I kind of want one for no good reason, but because I do. Antique legal definition is 100 years old, so 1923 is now antique. Okay, so what, vintage is 40 and antique is 100.
So my table that I have everything on it, that is a 1920s something standard when Isaac Merrick Singer broke off from Singer for a year and a half and literally started making sewing machines. So that's considered an antique. The table, that's a Singer table with a standard sewing machine because Isaac Merrick Singer was an a-hole and he was like, I don't care. It's my last name.
Right. We can have a vintage 1979 vintage wine just like we can have a 1979 vintage Pfaff. Yes, we can.
I think the only reason that it drives me crazy is because people drive the prices up for stuff like that. Like that's why I miss going to Ventura because they had realistic prices. Like my other 19 the machine that I have another one like this that's up there because I'm crazy. Let's see if I could get it on my crazy shot, but I got that for $40 in Ventura because they're reasonable and it came with the table and everything. Let's see.
Okay, and classic is 50. You are so much smarter than I am, human. Thank you for your sharing your wisdom with us.
There's too
Your
much
knowledge.
junk over there. So they're
Too much
classic.
junk in my room.
So they're considered classic then. Just the wording is what bothers me. And as somebody who is an avid sewing machine buyer, I need some meat on the bone, you know.
You're right. I'm not a so I no, I'm not an avid sewing machine buyer. I bought a couple, I bought a dud, and a beauty fell in my lap.
So this week on Sewing Machine Anonymous, we're gonna deal with denial.
No! I right. Lottie Go was freaking free. The cost, I almost fell down the stairs, and my human and I almost
Whoa.
broke her as we fell down this human lady's stairs.
The machine would have maintained everything else would have broke, but the
Right, the
machine
wood would have broke, and I might have broke, but yes. And then I told her as we were getting it down, and I was like, "These aren't show muscles," because I was having. It's like these are work muscles. These muscles are for work and not just for show.
like I tell my son, lift with your legs, lift with your
If
legs.
it's true, yes. Suck in your guts, brace your core, and
He doesn't.
do it.
He's so smart. When I'm like, "You want to go to work with me?" He's like, "Nah." He's like, "Cause I'm old. You actually make me work now." Smart
Right? And it's
kids.
good for it's good. I think that's part of it is, but I think you're teaching him something that kids aren't getting these days. They, for whatever reason, I don't think kids know how to do chores and do work.
Oh yeah, and we
That
had to
like sense of
dig.
responsibility. Like I don't.
Oh yeah.
I think that's something that kids are miss. That might be one of the fundamental flaws. They don't know how to do anything.
Oh, I was raised by slave drivers, so you know I don't feel sorry for the younger generation. Like my parents,
Right, and
you
you
worked,
you're
you
like
worked.
seriously when you use those words, you're like, yes, we were. They knew the best of them knew where it come from,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh no, dude! If you lived in my parents' house, you worked. Like my parents were no joke. Like I mowed the lawn. My like I had to pick up after the dog, mow the lawn, and take out the trash. Those were like the big three, you know, because I was the
yeah,
youngest, you know.
the first stages of sewing addiction.
Is
Sewing
it me?
addiction is having one needle and thread and a piece scrap of fabric, and you make something that's a piece of trash, but you did it with your grandma and you loved it. Like that's the first stage. Machines come second
I saw this thing
or
today
fifth.
that totally guilted me into quilting. I think I need. They were like, because I collect all my scraps, thinking that I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
quilt one day. And I saw this video that was like, "Hey, lazy, you know those scraps you're saving that you're never gonna make a quilt with? You need to make a quilt." And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what? I need to go back to that podcast because this person's yelling at me. But it's true. But it's true.
But you could also you don't
I want to make a
you
coat.
could use the scraps and the technique of quilting, but you could make winter spans. You can
Oh
make
yeah,
jackets. You can do pillow. Like, a quilt doesn't need to be a giant thing for the bed.
that's good. That's good to know. I was because I saw Andre 3000 had on these like unique pants, and I'm like, that is like that's a designer's scrap. Like those were like a designer was like, oh, I'm bored. I'm gonna make all of these. You know.
I'm using my shearing foot because
Oh
this is the
wow.
one Allie taught me. You just take your fabric and shove it in and stitch over it. And it's like, yeah, they're ruffles, but it's not. Oh, here's a couple of Phoenix machines by Baron Rip. Okay, let me just toggle over to here so that. Thank
I
you
went
for.
through a summer where my predecessor and I tried to learn German. It was failure.
I took 3 semesters of it, and I'm still terrible. I can Sprachen Sie Deutschen, and that's still about it.
Proben as taught. No, I didn't say Proben as taught. I didn't say it with or Der Kaiser and Arsen Arslak. Arslak. See, is terrible German. My German is just bad. Awesome. I'm gonna look at
Ah,
it too.
thank you. I know. I appreciate your knowledge so much. A white stuff and a sew machine. You know, white stuff and sewing, it just goes hand in hand. You got to keep the presser foot going somehow, or my arms got to keep cranking.
I don't even know. My son was on his Oculus and I walked by and they're having a full conversation. It's him and a bunch of people and they're like, "Oh, stay away from that white stuff." And because I'm old, I was like, those habits are expensive." Everybody started laughing. Everybody started laughing.
I know, and they're so bad for you, and they're expensive. And I'm not going to speak more about those.
Oh no, that stuff ruins life. I am a prude. I'm a wet blanket. I'm not fun at parties.
I'm not fun at parties anymore.
Because I told it, yeah, because I'm a truth teller. Exactly. Oh man. This did make me feel better. I've been sitting around all weekend watching podcasts, feeling sorry for myself because I was sick. But so you guys, if everyone feels like laughing because we're all here except for Kilroy. Kilroy, you are missed. Wherever you are missed.
Oh, that's true. Right. Well, I mean,
And I'm gonna repeat all
I
this tomorrow.
appreciate everybody who showed up on my earlier when I was like on the verge of a meltdown and the cat was in the shed this whole time because he's the cat who runs into the house and he ran into the shed and was like, "I'm scared." I opened that door 5 times, shook the snack sack, and he refused to move his fanny. Oh
maybe,
God.
maybe I don't know. That's cats are so unpredictable. So my mom buys me $300 watches like I'm her employee. And I'm gonna show you
I
something. And
want
this is
somebody
not
to
a
treat me
flex.
like that employee.
She buys every holiday. My mom buys me a watch every holiday. I'm embarrassed because I dress like a hobo, and then I have this like shiny watch on.
You should ask for a pocket watch instead.
I'm not I'm not kidding you, and I'm not even. This is not a flex, okay? This is not a flex. I just randomly grabbed in my drawer. This is last year's, and it's real. That's real gold. Like I'm gonna get robbed. My mom's trying to get me robbed.
No, Loki does not like fresh. They're indoor cats. He
And this
went
is a broken one.
outside in his contained yard. Though he is the cat who attempted to eviscerate a groundhog last year, so he does like movable snacks.
Oh,
But
groundhogs are spicy, aren't they? Like spiky.
I don't know. We didn't let him eat it. But
Oh,
he like that belly. He attempted to eviscerate that thing. He's well fed and 12 pounds of happy indoor cat. And if anything, I was like, I didn't hear anybody crying Like, he's the cat. He gets scared and he darts into the house. So somehow, with the one entrant, I don't even know what he did. He never left the property. He was home the whole time, just not where I expected him to be.
You know
And
what's really funny, Butterfly? I told my mom, I was like, save up and just buy me a Rolex. Like, if you're spending, like, don't like save it, wait a couple years and just buy me a Rolex. It's
I just
not a
need one
humble
nice watch. I don't need a mid-range watch every year.
every year. And this is the one for my, and it's not necessarily a humble brag, Skids Crasher. I'm just extremely middle class with a yuppie parent. This one can't stop breaking. This is not the original band. I replaced it. But fun fact, when you get in car accidents, let's see if I'm extremely tan this time of year. But there it is.
Oh, there's your scar in your hand.
From my watch in my car accident. I remember I got out and I was like, my hand was just completely a mess. And I'm like, huh, I wondered how that happened. My watch exploded in my car accident and gave me a scar for life. Now I have a smiley face.
Right, that's true. You can do like oh, no. The happy hand with the eyes. No, there we go. Hello.
And
Like
my
you're still around here. We saw lots of fun things.
and she got me a Movado. I put that thing in the bank. I don't want it at my house. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Well, you got to be careful because they're like seizing the government seizing security, or
I saw
not
that.
security, but you know what I'm talking
I
about.
know
I don't
exactly
have
what you're
words.
talking about. There's a lot of misinformation out there though, because on Twitter right now they make it look like it's WW3, and
Well,
like
what's up with the family? They were a firearms shop in Idaho. There was tanks driving through Idaho, whether they were on scheduled training missions, who knows. But the 20 armed IRS agents that showed up at this licensed, legal, to my understanding, I don't quote me on any parts of this story, but the FTA and the IRS show up at this person's firearms shop.
as far as the military goes, they're always moving equipment, and
Right,
that's
they got to right. Stuff's got to get used. Those engines, they're like sewing machines. They need to be run. You
and,
can't
and
leave
I'm not.
your F-16 on the field
Yeah.
for too long. The motor's gonna seize.
There was one time going to Vegas, I pulled over. I felt so old because there's a bunch of 19 and 20-year-old kids on a convoy, and they were just chilling. I pulled over to smoke a joint. I was like, I'd smoke a J, and I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable because these kids are gonna ask if they can hit.
You're like, no.
Like,
I get you're in the military, but to me, you're still underage. Sorry, kids.
they're literally, if you're where I'm from, you have to be 21 years of age to smoke cigarettes or marijuana in the state of California.
Yeah, somebody was saying we're getting into this. I guess what I'm so old that I don't pay attention to the age of consent for buying tobacco, but I didn't realize that it would have been raised to 21.
In Oregon as well?
I think so. I can't. It's like, what? You can vote, you can join the military, you can get a tattoo, but you can't kill yourself with tobacco and alcohol until you're 21. I'm like, that doesn't seem like a fair trade-off.
That argument will never not be valid. That's the same argument from when they changed the legal drinking age from 18 to 21
Right,
nationwide.
It's so dumb.
I'm about to wrestle with a white featherweight. Be careful.
Good luck.
We will be live tomorrow.
I know.
I'm gonna be crying about
this is usually our closing time. So whoever needs to go to bed, go for it. Though, Ellie, you just grabbed coffee. So my human went to their other. Well, I've got mixed feelings.
We're chilling. No, and I have a ton of stuff I was gonna sew today, but I'm kind of glad. Like, I'm not glad that your cat disappeared, but I'm glad that everything happened because I am not 100% today, and I think I need one. I need to go to bed early this evening. Says the guy
Yeah,
drinking coffee.
I'm right. Two folks drinking coffee. I don't want to. I don't. I know nothing about nobody. So everybody's folks, but I'm gonna go back to the FOLKS. Nobody's FOXS because I just can't keep up, and there's too much weird stuff wrapped up with too much stuff that feels important to me, and I just don't feel like fighting it.
I know what
I
you're
was
saying.
buying and drinking at 10 years old. No one asked me for an ID until I was 26 at a bar. Oh, wow. You were impressive that your liver still works, but my human was also binging on the neighbor's best friend's dandelion wine at 11 and 12. Oh no, that was 12. Inherited grandma's box of carton of Camel Straights and thought they were Humphrey Bogart, so would sit in their room smoking Camel Straights, reading books at 10. But those are not, I should not share, not my stories.
Do you know what's really funny? Of all the cigarettes I smoked, I miss smoking Camel Nuns. I missed the non filters. They were lung choppers. I would feel the hole here. When I do get lung cancer, it will be because I smoked Camel non filters for 10 straight years. Oh man. And I haven't smoked a cigarette in years, and I still have dreams that I'm smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, some things
Still.
just get into muscle memory. I made dandelion wine at 12 years. I still haven't done that. I need, winemaking is not something we've gotten into, and my human wants to make beer, but everything, why does the upfront cost have to be so much?
Okay, so
And
I'm not into shaming, but my Mormon neighbor has like 75 relatives. Every time they have a party, there's like 40 people that show up, and they're all related.
well, isn't that like the giant Mexican families? I mean, yeah, look who's talking.
Yeah, but we only got like three or four around here, and they're like, you know what's so funny? My family was like, we were like Mormons. Now that I think about it, my family,
I
we
was
were
gonna
like
say
40,
just
50.
because whoever shows up now, I'm calling you out on this one, Godless.
Mormons don't play though. They are so deep.
Yeah,
They
but
are
they forget
so
to move out. But just because your family moved out does not mean that at one point you didn't have that many people at somebody's graduation or first
whoa.
communion or whatever.
When I was a kid, it was embarrassing. Every Sunday, my family would fill 3 pews.
Yeah, yeah.
And and that's
Look
every
who's talking.
and that's only the people that would show up every Sunday. I was one of the
Right?
tortured where my parents forced me to go every Sunday.
No, you were just young enough, and they had some control, and we're trying to instill something
You know what though? I'm gonna
or expose you.
I'm early. I'm never late. I'm early to everything. Like I was raised by military Catholics. So
Militant. I was raised in the militant Catholic branch. We showed up
there,
on time, 10 minutes early. We were first in line for communion, and right after the service, we were the first ones to our car.
we used to go to El Torito though. That was the highlight. I would sit in church, and be like, "All right, I'm gonna get a buffet after this, so I'll sit here. I will sit here."
I know. What is it about you go to church and then you go eat food?
I think it was to keep the troops happy.
Right? All of them. Oh, Ellie, I've never heard of a small Mormon party. My Mormon neighbor always has 30 over. It's
You know
over
what it
30.
is?
Yep.
It's because I'm watching them on the security camera, and I'm like, man. And the older kids drive now, so now that like their cars are filling up the block because they, around where I live, people buy their children cars. They're yuppies, and so it's not rare for a 16-year-old to get a brand new car. I got a Ford that was my age.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh.
But I
I
always tell
didn't
this.
even get my driver's license until I was 18, and then I had access to a 79 Chevy Malibu, and when the catalytic converter bit the dust, I had no car until I bought another one, which
I
was
tell
a while later.
Oh, that didn't work. Did it work? Oh, there it is. I tell this story all the time. I told my dad I wanted a car, and he said, "Okay, get in the car." And he took me to Robinson's May, and I got a job, and I bought a crummy truck.
Right?
I worked for it. I worked my tail off. My parents were really big on discipline, and it worked because in life I never got fired for being late. I was always there. I always kept a job.
Yeah, there's definitely right, and I think that's what these young kids don't understand, especially now that they've got ChatGPT. They don't know how to do anything. AI's gonna. What are they gonna do? They're gonna be fat slob robots who just sit on their butt and let the like.
Wally, we're gonna be living Wally, the movie. Do
I
you know
never saw it.
my parent? Like and you know what's so sad? Like I always I don't know. Where's that line though? Because my parents were hardcore disciplinarians, but it also helped me in life. Like I speak two languages. I have certain certifications because they're like, all right, you drop out of college, go get your certs and then do whatever you want. And I did.
Right, but you learned how to do stuff. I mean, we
You have to
don't.
be teachable.
You do need to be easily trainable. That is something that's important. And we are so undervaluing and undermining skilled trades. And it's going to come back and bite everybody in the freaking ass, including me, because I got some stuff that needs to be fixed that, yeah, I took and may not have flunked physics like a couple times until I got through, because physics and I were really, we struggled, but we got through it eventually. But we had some issues getting through.
You know what's really funny, Alibaba? I recently went through this with my son. He was watching a special on the Getty Museum, and I'm like, bro, I said, okay. Next morning, I was like, get in the car. I took him to the Getty. It's literally 25 minutes from our house. And I was like, let's look at these paintings, like face to face of what you were watching on YouTube. Let's
Right.
look at it. Like, let's absorb it.
Right, and let's not be those stupid assholes who just glued ourselves and poured tomato soup on another painting this a couple
If
days ago.
As someone who goes to museums, I would be put on probation if I ever caught someone doing that. I'd give them a WWF elbow.
I, I know, right? Like, and it's not like there's. I was hearing this yesterday. It's not like they're standing there opening those cans of soup. Like they were already pre-opened. Is there a metal detector? Is there like you can have your handbag and your camera, but check your camera bag? Like,
It's so different here in LA. You have to go through 5 scanners and walk past a cop.
right? Like,
At our museums, we have police officers and armed security guards.
right? Oh, let's see here. Looking things up on the internet is just getting told. You don't really learn that way. No.
So no.
Well, don't learn unknown stuff that way. Exactly. You only get fed what's told to you. Like, and if you, like, Google prioritizes YouTube, so there was a show on Rumble that, like, was not on YouTube, but YouTube still prioritized their link, and they didn't even have the whole show. No one is learning to build a good house, just mass made factory type builds. The Getty Museum is really nice. Yeah, I don't know how to do stuff, but I expected to be able to rely on folks who did, but we don't. Who's going to replace the plumbers, the bakers, the candlestick makers?
Aw. Oh, my ex-wife is sending me Maury Povich. You are the father. Happy Father's Day memes.
Aww.
We've
So
come such
who's
a
dressed? Who's got the high heels and the dress on tonight? Sorry.
And then we're memers. We send the most awful memes to each other because we have a terrible sense, like an awful sense of humor.
No,
So,
sarcasm is my middle name. It's Phoenix Sarcasm Electra, just so everybody has my full name if they try to steal my identity.
and it's so sad. I know my ex-wife is a safe space where I could send her an awful picture and she won't judge me. Or she'll laugh and be like, "That's hilarious," because we both have the same sense of humor, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to
that's
bring back hard work and laugh and being able to take a joke. I th- that's I think that's what's going to save the next generation. I need to. Oh, there's a character I've been working on for years, but have not done much with, which is the clown doctor, and I think I need to bring that because I need to
I
bring
would.
that character to fruition.
You know what? My parents, they worked really hard. If you even take the farm stuff out, the administrative stuff is really, really hard. Okay, but they
Yeah,
partied hard. Like my parents, they drank. So I learned like if you can hang with what you do, like you can do hard work and then still have fun, you know? As
right,
long as you do all
right.
that
You can
first.
work hard and play hard, and you can work hard and play less hard if you can't if it affects your work hard.
Like when I sit here, that's why like in my live streams I get progressively stoned because I wasn't sitting around smoking all day. I was
It just hits you all
periodically.
at once.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's why when I sit down here, like this is my chill time, you know. So it appears that I'm a hapless stoner, but I actually have a real job.
It's because I couldn't do this all day long, and it's all just catching up all at once.
You know the one thing
Oh,
I want to say about the Getty Museum though, it is so beautiful. You can stand on a hill and see the beach, the desert, the mountains, and the city. Like that's the one thing about the Getty. I love how you can stand and see everything. It went from Lost Kitty to wanting to punch the sewing machine.
oh no! I just ran out of bobbin thread, and I didn't hear it. That's so funny. I was watching somebody the other day, and they were like, "Oh, I can hear my bobbin threads running out," and I don't. Maybe it's because I'm this bobbin takes up so much I don't hear it. But on Brunhild I don't hear it as much. But I did hear it on Latigo. And we'll have to some Ollie, you might have to learn me next week when I get set up over there. I don't understand how to wind the bobbin. Like I get it, but it's not working right. And I don't know if it's a me thing or whether the bobbin
On your
winding
singer?
mechanism is not right.
On your singer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say some really awful things that I hate it when people say this to me. Practice, practice, practice.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying it might. I'm not discounting that as an option.
There
I
are
just
certain
I
machines
don't
that
get it.
no,
Like
I
I
get
get
it.
it, but I don't get it.
My Elna, my Elna sewing machines, I don't get them. I do not understand them. There's something I'm doing wrong because they're both doing the same thing. Both of them are
Yeah. So that's definitely a you problem and not a them problem.
they're not coming up to speed. And that's me. Did I overgunk it? And then I wanted to use a heat gun, but in my grasshopper it has plastic parts. So if I put a heat gun to it, I'm gonna melt it because I have an automotive heat gun.
Well, what did I hear about things not coming up to speed right? Did are is the presser feet actually wired appropriately?
It's funny you'd say that on one machine. I would say yes. The other, it has some fuzz sticking out because it's an old. It's right here. This guy, this thing is this is a Lotus SP, and this made in Switzerland. This thing is the only legitimate mini sewing machine I have, and it doesn't go up to speed. But the cord is kind of frayed. But my grasshopper, it has the exact same problem.
Right. It is my Singer 101 that I understand it, but somehow it's not winding right. And it is probably a me problem because these old machines, it's not a them problem. It's usually a you problem, but
Oh,
I don't
Alibaba. I
get
feel like
it.
such a dork. I hope that's the problem. I'm gonna futz around with it tonight and see if that is the problem. But it just won't go fast. And my grasshopper looks like a beast. I have the case. Well, I've made a video about it, so everyone already knows. But like, I have the case and everything, you know. But it's just It makes me angry actually because I take it to the shop when I'm bored sometimes, and I'm like, why won't you work?
Well, the other question, if the cords don't look like somebody could have rewired something inappropriately.
True. I
That it might look right and but it might not. Don't trust it. That's what I'm learning. So, somebody else could have fucked it up, and you haven't seen it fucked up to not realize it's fucked up.
That's it's so funny. I had a brother sewing machine that was sewing backwards, and I typed in brother sewing machine sewing backwards. Hundreds of videos popped up because it's a common problem, and I'm like, oh,
Right,
yikes.
because sometimes that's what I was saying about the other things, like they've got the three hookups, but sometimes the hot wires are 1 and 2, and sometimes it's 1 and 3. And if you
Oh yeah.
wire 1 and 3, if you think they're not the same, I know just enough to be dangerous, not enough to dare myself to understand it. But
Which is literally like on my t-shirt.
I'm dangerous.
I always want to say, like, I'm a rebel, like Pee Wee Herman. I'm a rebel, Dottie.
Oh my god, I can't wait for my new cocktail glass to come. It's gonna say, "Come on, Bobby." Oh, my knee hurts. The other thing I don't love about my Singer 101, I don't love having to sit when I'm sewing. I like Brunhild because I could sit right now, but I wouldn't be comfortable. Like, I
I know.
like standing when I sew. I don't love sitting when I sew, and that's probably just a weird me thing, because all machines are meant to be sitting usually.
I wish I had a high enough surface because um one of the reasons there's a table that I have that I float around. It's an IKEA sewing table. And for some reason it's just a little bit taller. So it's made for someone that's my size is what I'm trying to say. I
Right.
take that thing with me everywhere. It's in my truck right now because I take it to work with me sometimes. Because it's hard to find a sewing table that's my size because I'm right in the middle. I'm not short and I'm not tall. I'm the
Well, they
definition
don't
of
make
Africa.
anything super short either. I will hear none of these complaints of I'm short privileged. I'm super short.
Like I said, you would love my house because it was built by someone who was 5'8". So everything is within my reach.
Yeah, but
Like
that's still
everything.
probably 3 inches higher than I would like my counters to be. My house is short too, but it's still too tall. I would just want everything set down like 3.5, 4 more inches, then I will be happy. I just like my feet to touch the ground when I sit on the toilet. I have low I have low expectations and am frequently disappointed.
I'm trying to think. The only place that's ever happened to me is like there's like I went to a soccer game in Mexico and it made me feel short because my feet were dangling off, and I'm like, who is sitting on this toilet? Because there are certain places that
Right. Mexicans are not this tall. This is not
I was about to
This is
say
not Iceland where there's dwarves and literal giants.
to my peoples, I've been there and I lived there. I was considered a giant, and I'm 5'9" and I wear cowboy boots to give myself the illusion of height.
Well, being 6 feet, I can
Yeah.
pretend.
No, I love that look when I kick my boots off and I'm the same height as my son. People are like, "Oh, you weren't lying. You really are 5'9". Like, you really are. He's 5'8" ish. He's catching up.
Oh my goodness, the littlest giant. Yeah, I don't mind this sharing foot for what I'm using it
Oh,
for.
that looks great. That looks great.
Yes,
I
I'm
actually have to
gonna
make. I actually have
French.
to make drapes.
Okay, go for it. Oh, I just checked. The Elna Grasshopper has a low high gear to the left of where the plug-in is on the back. You'll have to review that later.
I'm debating if it's worth moving my Sega Genesis because I have a Sega Genesis sitting on top of it because I've been so mad at my grasshopper, I use it as a nightstand now.
Yeah, it might be time to take them out of the bad kid corner for a little while and just.
Because I watch these videos and people are like, look at my Elna grasshopper. And I'm like, how come mine doesn't work? Like, I've done everything. I've done
It,
everything you've asked.
I'm gonna go with something simple because like this was I can't remember who I was just watching, but they were talking about Husqvarna Vikings, and it was like a '70s model, and like the presser foot wasn't going up, and you just open the nose, and some all the machines, like it just wasn't the presser foot piece
Let me do some.
wasn't engaged appropriately, and it was something like you just do this, like you just pinch it and re-engage it. There's nothing wrong with like
Oh my gosh. That's like the first time I ever figured out timing. I had my Morris sewing machine for like a year and a half. The timing was off. I didn't know what to do. The second I figured out timing, I grabbed that machine. I had it working within 5 minutes. I
well, I
literally.
appreciate. Yeah, speaking of timing, thank you, Allie, for letting me know that all I need to do to reset the timing on this beautiful white is just keep making it work, and eventually it will catch up to itself. I think I'm also mean to it because I try to sew like tulle and silk and then vinyl with an interlaying. Like I kind of just jump from thing to thing and abuse my machines.
Oh, and my Elna is holding all the goods.
That's the secret snack sack.
It's my corner. I obsessively Sonic is that's my stress relief hedgehog. I absolutely love my
I thought
Sega
you meant the
Genesis.
burgers, so that's good. Thanks for clarifying.
I um I love my Sega Genesis. I've been playing it since back in the day. I purchased one pre-COVID, which I'm really glad in retrospect.
Right, because it never would have shipped on time otherwise.
Oh, I sat and geeked out. Man, people were. Could you imagine me being trapped in this room during COVID? I geeked out. I have hundreds of
I don't have
VHSs.
enough fabric. Bring me more fabric.
Well, at
Amazon, you're
first,
not delivering fast enough.
I had to adapt because up until then, I only went to. I never bought anything online. I just didn't trust it, and so I had to start learning to trust. When someone says they're going to send me 6 yards, they're going to send me 6 yards.
Yeah, no, I want to keep sewing so I can go back to the shop in town. Not that I expect to like come home with another free sewing machine, but
Oh
oh
my
my god,
gosh!
I spent $55 on fabric and get a free sewing machine with the original freaking bench. That's still the part that I'm just like, it. I don't know, but my grandma had the bench. My mom's got her sewing machine with the bench, and my mom does. She does a lot of things. Sewing, not really her thing. But her machine has a bench too. But I've got the original bench and new parts. Did I even go through? I got a ruffle foot because all my machines need a ruffle foot. We have a another shirring foot, a lace attachment foot. I do like these. These are fun.
Just so you see that I'm not kidding, I have a real life Sega Genesis because I'm old. Well,
Another bias binding foot. And this one is new to me, an adjustable hammer foot.
ooh, I have one of those.
That I'm going to need to play with that one. But actually, this is a question that I was going to have. And I got a brand new red spool felt. What is the what's the purpose of a spool felt? Like, is it to protect the machine from the spool winding or to keep the spool unwinding nicely? Like, it made me think, why do we need this piece?
I am so sad. I have a piece of furniture I can put there.
but because on my machines, everything's got hammers. Those are handy adjustable hammers. Super excited to play with it. I was kind of it. Well, she took some. Latigo and I are becoming fast friends, but I do think for like super slow, like stuff that I'm really worried and fiddly, Brunhilde's my go-to because she can only drive as fast as my hand can crank her, and if I can drive too fast, I get sloppy.
I'm kind of like that. I do like sewing at 1,000 miles an hour sometimes.
Oh, good. This spool felt adds drag for tension. Okay, so it's a unspoken part of the thread tension settings that is not in the manual. Freya,
Oh my gosh! Oh, let's not smash the cord.
right, don't do that.
Oh, I'm mad at this machine because this thing should work.
Why aren't you
I
working?
do want it.
We're supposed to be friends.
You know what though? It might. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I think both of my Elnas have janky cords.
So it might be people who rewired it wrong in the olden days. Like
Because I buy
it
these.
might be it might not really be a you problem. It might be I didn't realize this was the problem.
And for anyone interested, I got this in my honey hole of Ventura, California for less than $40 because if it's here, I paid less than $40 for it.
Oh, stop making me feel ripped off for getting this Eldridge that needs to be rewired that I bought in a parking lot for $50.
No, 50s is my range. That's my range. Like I spent 59. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, I consider anything under 50 you're like, oh, you're giving this to me.
Oh, interesting. Really old machines have a heavy weight that goes on top. I have the original on my very rare Gardner sewing machine from 1872. That was like, oh, interesting. So the spool felt is kind of a little bit like the top plastic spool holder pieces that I have for my baby lock, but from the other end. That is the that is the low range on those. Okay. You learn me so much. It's like I show up, but people learn me stuff here, and I'm so grateful. like I, this is the
If
way.
you
Like I'm never gonna go back to school to get another expensive green degree, but I do enjoy being a lifelong learner.
I think about that all the time. This thing just will not go up to speed. It's beautiful though. I forgot how beautiful this is. Hold the spool. That spring.
Oh, that green color is so cute. It's like the plastic ones on new machines that hold the spool and have that spring. Okay, I get it. Okay, it's all making sense now. Now I feel better about trying to. All right, maybe one of these weeks where I'm going to bring out this Eldridge that needs rewiring. We're going to maybe no do sewing, but bring out my baby lock and my Kenmore, and we'll just play with my sewing machine collection.
Now she's not even moving. You know what? I don't like
Did
you
you
either.
seize the motor?
Let me loosen her up. Oh, there is a switch on the back. Calvon Money Don Senor.
Right.
Oh. If my grandma was here, she'd be speaking in tongues.
In tongues.
See, okay, that's when this is bobbin winding mode. The motor works. Okay, so let's tighten it. Nothing. Oh, it sounds like it's. Oh, here we go. So the second I put thread in that, why are you working all of a sudden?
Because we want to show you up and make you look like a fool.
Is this gonna be Grasshopper, the revenge, or what? Because the second I let's put some fabric underneath and watch this thing seize. You're gonna swim or die, kid. Right.
We're at the sink or swim stage of the show.
You know what's really funny? I can see the cord is frayed right here. I am the king of getting electrocuted. So I'm not gonna play with it like that. Oh, that's not going down. Let's see what happens. It's just stabbing it.
Yes, why are your feed dogs not working?
Oh, that's like... This thing has been nothing but drama. See, it's not starting again. There we go. I got like a lot of people used to ask me, they're like, what's a wall hanger?
These ones I don't understand how to fix because either I'm dumb or it's dumb. Oil it. You've been told to oil it.
Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm gonna have one hell of a museum, is all I have to say.
But right, put oil. Maybe it's got one of those weird octopus oil wicks like my 101.
Oh man. You know what though? This whole conversation inspired me to start working on this thing, says the man who literally has a brand new sewing machine to him behind him.
Right. But sometimes you gotta let the new ones like sit and think about, contemplate life for a little bit while you deal with some ones you've already had in the collection for a while.
Well, I don't sleep at night, so I could do all of it.
Are the feed dogs dropped? That is another good question, because if the needle's going, why is it like that? Was my first thought, and I know nothing.
They're not even moving. The feed dogs aren't even moving.
So okay, so that's a different problem.
The Elena hasn't got the octopus. Full circle.
Thank you.
On camera. You know what?
That's right. You can yell at us all day long, Ellie. I'm here for you yelling at me, honey.
I'm so glad we had this conversation though, because let me unplug it before I lift it up. Lesson learned.
Yes. Safety first.
I just grew my eyebrows back. Takes months to grow these huge things back.
Those giant slugs.
But the back is frayed. See that? God, this is heavy.
You need to rewire. Just rewire that shit.
Monk-like patience. Oh, that is. You know what? I'm gonna start a class. I'm just gonna get old machines and people to start working out with them. I guarantee you, I'd be on the local news somewhere if I did. We have goat yoga around here, and I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
I know, because goats just poop and like, no, my cats go in the box. Don't randomly poop on me. Like, no, I'm not down for that.
All goat yoga is a way for a rich landowner to make more money.
And to sell out to other rich white ladies. Rich white ladies and middle-class white ladies. Middle-class. Yes, they are crass. Middle-class white ladies, I think, are the bane of existence.
Have you ever heard of pickleball?
I have.
It has taken over my town like drugs.
Oh, I shouldn't say anything. I am vampirish and underwent secondary gynecomastia, so who am I to... I'm not one to talk on that subject, but
pickleball is like poor man's tennis. It got really famous during COVID because you're still doing activity, but you're a good 6 or 7 feet away from the people.
Right, but isn't that what's either high impact that people keep dying on the pickleball courts?
Well, it's because body shock is real, and I think people don't realize, like, if you sit on the couch for 40 years and you're like, I'm going to become a tennis player, you might die of a heart attack. You know, it's so funny you would say this. I am obsessed with B movies and crap rap. Okay, so
I know crack rap. So I'm Like,
I know every bad rapper from the 90s, from the 80s, like I'm there. This guy named Big Pokey died on stage last night of a heart attack.
oh no.
And he's 45.
Ooh, that's young. And Carol
Ugh.
Higgins Clark died this week, and she was
What?
only 66. Yeah, I read so many of her
Oh,
books when I was a
that makes me want to
younger
cry.
human.
I was listening to Big Pokey song today and I'm like, wow, like life is short. But he
Right?
was
Enjoy your sewing machines. Sew all your stuff. You don't need a huge stash. Enjoy what you have and just make the most of it.
but like I'm unhealthy and I'm semi skinny. Like I'm like right I'm skinny. And these people are like my height weighing 345.
Yeah, that's not healthy. That's not skinny.
I'm of that age where people around my age are and I'm young and they're dropping like flies. It's really sad. It was really sad. I think it hit me because I've been sitting around sick watching podcasts for the past 2 days.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. You have nothing but to stew with your senses of immortality or lack of immortality.
And then like a true dun-da-da, I go to Twitter and I'm like, it is so sad that I go to Twitter to check the validity of things. This is the world I live in. I go to Twitter to see if there's truth. Like I need to go outside and walk around.
I know, because I'm not sure if it's a meme or true about the whistleblower for the Biden family who showed up dead, but they're in cahoots with the Clinton crime family that also has this like long string of like unexplainable suicides that don't make sense.
You never
But
know.
we're not here for politics. We're here for fun. Actually, I'm gonna pop up. Okay, some Godless is gonna keep talking. I'm gonna hide myself for a
Okay.
second, and I'm
Okay.
gonna then show some personal shame. But I
Well,
need to hide for this for a second.
Alibaba, I was more or less using Twitter like because as humans, we have power in numbers. So I know if like hundreds of people are like, "Oh man, this guy really passed it," I kind of believe it more. But you are right. Especially like in the past 2 days, I've been sitting here sick. There has been so much propaganda on Twitter that like I miss the old Twitter where that stuff wasn't allowed because people are saying things that are flat out not true. And you know what? Twitter is trying its best to be like, no, this is butt kiss, but it's not working. It's not working at all. You're right. Twitter is a fist fight in international waters. Now I just have that song stuck in my head. What should I do with this thing? I think I'm just gonna put it on display because it's beautiful. I'm gonna put the case back where it was because it was holding up my Sega. Urban legend could be known by many, but could be by bogus. Like, no, I agree. I agree. That's one of the reasons I've been off of Twitter for months. And it's funny, I've been back on for 2 days and I'm like, this is exactly why I left. Because people they tell lies about each other, they tell lies about the war, they tell lies about everything. And the funny thing is Elon Musk rode in on his white horse saying he was going to stop it and he did not, you know. It is about to go. You would love that machine.
Okay, this is not actually. I'm interrupting. Nope, it's my stream. I can interrupt if I want to.
Go
This
ahead. It's my
so,
party.
and I'll cry if I. Yes, I don't have very much. I have this much yardage of this beautiful silk
Ooh.
brocade. It's got
Ooh.
chrysanthemums. It's silver and black.
You know, I'm in the
I
flower
have
era.
even more of this gold, like feathery
Ooh.
cheetah one. I have this much.
You have miles of it.
I do. Oh, we haven't even got to the. I've got more. I have
Holy shit.
blue with flowers.
That's
They're not coming
screaming.
off nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I have pink with this much. That's also that like
Oh,
pink
wow.
feathery. I'm taking solicit. I'm taking suggestions for ideas because I I inherited the silk. It cost me nothing. It was probably bought in Japan or China like a gajillion years ago, and it's not living its best life on the bolt. So
What are you against any styles?
I'm open to all suggestions right now.
Because the pink and the pink, I've been watching too much like Met Gala like critiques. I was thinking like a big poofy Dior kind of dress, but in the 17th century style. So with a
Oh,
big like with a big, I don't know what those dresses were called.
oh, the pink does not have flowers. It's more of the a feathery, similar. I think the pink is exactly like the gold and black, but all in pink. I
That's
know I don't
awesome.
have my nice camera, so it's not really like it's like kind of a upward-ish directional print, but nobody's really gonna notice, so I can do whatever I want. But
No,
I
it's
have
picking
so
up.
much.
It's picking up on camera.
Okay,
Is
yeah.
is the is it thick?
Um, no, it's not. It's and it washes nicely and
Ooh,
turns super soft and like nice feeling.
that's important.
So it does. It doesn't shrink too much. Washes up nicely. Feels nice afterwards. I mean, I was thinking of like pillowcases and like a nighty schmata outfit. I could do, but the pink I have so much. Like, what's something completely over the top that would feel like a waste of fabric if you
Ric
didn't
Flair,
literally have this much beautiful silk fabric at your disposal to use?
like a Ric Flair bathrobe with the full frilly boa around the entire end of your cape bathrobe.
That's that's an that is a possibility because I'm taking all suggestions. There's no bad suggestions. Might
Okay,
not use do it, but I'm down for all ideas because I have even the silver. Like it doesn't look that much compared to the others, but there's probably at least 10 yards on that roll.
that's a lot. You
Like if
could
I
you
had to guess, like, and that's the smallest length I have, so I'm most precious about the silver, and I love it the most. But
That's how you can get real detail with 10 yards. That's why I went crazy with my Lucy coat. There's all kinds of crazy details on the inside and all kinds of weird stuff, but I had a ton of
yeah,
fabric.
I know, and it's silk, and it feels so. It. I love it in the summer. I am one of those fancy, like, I am turning into linen undergarments and bougie silk because modern synthetics make me stink. I don't
I
I
know
don't know if anybody else has that problem, but like we don't get along.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly. There's certain
Oh,
fabric that I have Mr. Sensitive around here, and whenever we go to the fabric store, he's like, "It smells weird in here. It smells weird in here."
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super OTT. I, but I'm falling back in love with natural fibers. Um, yeah, but I do like the pink. I've worn that before. That's the one. Did I wear my pink corset last week? No, I was wearing it the other day. That's I have a kind of a schmata top. I call everything a schmata because I'm humble and I don't think my stitching's very nice, so everything's a rag that I make, even if it's not. But
I'm gonna say, do you know who ruined me? Seemed stressed.
oh
Is that her
yeah,
name? She zooms in on everything, and I was like, people do that? That's mean. So it made me really insecure on my seams. She actually made me
yeah.
really insecure.
Well, that's good because she's calling out like designer fashion houses, and they're doing shoddy work. If you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
shoddy work, I mean, you're not charging someone $10,000 or $2,000 the night to rent that dress for 6 hours.
I'm wearing a kilt at my local Safeway while I'm shopping for creamer.
Right? Nobody's looking at your seams. They're like, oh, a human with a kilt. That's kind of
No,
odd. All right, just keep walking. Avert your eyes. It's
around
Pride
here,
Month.
exactly. It's considered normal around here. No one even flinches. Like I wore my bright purple sweatshirt. No one even commented on it. And I'm like, you guys are getting a little too used to me. I need to go to a different store.
It's not always about the shock and awe.
I've walked in there a few times and they just are on the ground. Like the first time I wore my kilt, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. But you oh, you can't ride a bike and wear a kilt at the same time. And anyone who says that they do, they're a little dirty, rotten liar. Where they're literally sitting over the seat, though. You're sitting over the seat with your kilt, so you're on the seat. It's just you in the seat. It's awkward.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was gonna say because they're split riding skirts, and those folks always wear their are fine. But yeah, I guess if you're from what I hear about how the traditional Scots wear their skilts, you gotta like keep everything aligned, or somebody's getting a show. Other sewing other sewing enthusiast will look at the seams for sure. I know we're weird. I'm terrible. I look at the fit first and then the seams. It's true. No, there's nothing wrong because a well-fitted garment, you can't.
I also have
A
an
garment fits or
obsession.
it doesn't.
I have an obsession of looking like Paddington Bear. So I like that cross between 1920s wino.
Right, you like the oversized, like loose fitting. They were like, we didn't get enough to eat, and our jacket's 30 years old, but we patched it at the elbow so many times with
I love
Sears
that
Cisco
look.
that you can't notice.
I think it's because I grew up. My mom was obsessed with those weird, sad clowns.
Oh, okay.
Those creepy, sad clowns, with the white painted faces, and they're
I
like,
do know, yeah.
yeah, she was obsessed with those. Like, I had a poster in my room as a kid. I think I'm doing some psychological work right now. I
I'm
love
looking
that
through
look.
my sad clown face, which is why you're at the circus, because we're all sad clowns around here. Into the drape, yeah.
I like that Alibaba WC sewing. I like that. I was watching Groucho Marx and I was like, is it legal for me to walk around with a giant doobie, a cigar sized doobie in my
It's like our side.
hand?
Well, everything else is legally illegal.
I'm such a prude. I say this all the time. Like, there's a guy I watch who just puffs J's walking around Vegas. I'm like, bro, like I'm still waiting for him to get gaffled and just arrested by the police. I'm still waiting for it. Pot's been legal there for a while now. It's just I'm old. I'm a bit, I don't act like it, but I'm a bit of a prude.
There's nothing wrong with not laying all your cards on the table.
Oh, there's a whole half of my life I don't show online. There's a whole side of sewing that no one gets to see except for my son and people who don't have a choice. I think Snoop does that. Snoop, there's this thing in LA, like we could not get away with the things that Snoop does. Snoop Dogg was smoking a J at the Super Bowl as for a warm-up in the stadium.
Yeah, it's nice to have the money, money, money,
Yeah.
money.
The average citizen would go under the prison for that. Like,
Right.
you're not allowed to smoke anywhere in California since like the 80s or the 90s. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah, I know.
you can't
Sad
smoke here.
days. Sad days.
You totally inspired me with my scraps though, because I watched this like motivational video where this woman was like, "You're throwing money away, you lazy cow. You are throwing money away. What are you doing?"
Right.
You
I know I've got some. I do have a giant quilt that I should repurpose some pieces, but that I think that's why I'm going with my quilted house coat because it is technically a quilt, but it's something I'm going to use more and or use differently and enjoy just as much.
You know what? Back onto the sad clown. I think I might make a hobo jacket. Just a bunch of like, because I was going for Jason and the Technicolor coat, but then I found the pattern at Hobby Lobby because they're Christians.
Right, and that'll go perfect with Spians because it all works.
I think I like wearing baggy clothes because I'm skinny. Like I'm oddly portioned. I'm in my chubby phase right now, but I'm still skinny in a weird way.
No, I'm just fat right now and I'm really uncomfortable.
Bonnie Hunter does scrappy clothes.
Sweet.
I
My problem is I love crazy quilt and all the hand embroidery and the beautiful stitching, which is also I love thousands of hour projects and I can only do so many at a time.
That's why I sit here when it's quiet and I look through my America's Glorious Quilts book. It gives me so many ideas. That's where I got my Joseph the Technicolor coat idea from. Was from that. Well, I kind of always had it, but that book inspired me to actually do something about it.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have enough tears for this petticoat. I'm gonna have to start piecing or actually French seaming and cutting because I feel like old sewing machines. I don't know if I knew what the right process was, but for this, I cut the strips, I hemmed all the edges, then I put the ruffles in, then I'm gonna attach it. I don't know what the right order is, but that just made sense.
You know I'm a pirate. If it looks good, don't tell anyone how you got there. I'm a,
Fair. That's true too.
I was shocked when Butterfly was like, "Oh, that's an interesting way that you attach your arms." I'm like, "There's another way." And that whole night I was sitting there googling like, "Oh, there is other ways." Like
There,
I do
well,
it old school.
it's like pants too. Whether you sew the crotch last or the crotch first, and do the inseam all at
Okay.
once. Like
I
that's
know
another like how do you sew your do you sew your crotch first or your crotch last?
it drives me crazy. That's why I don't make more pants. I would have thousands of pairs of pants if I just would not mess up on that. And no one would buy my crotchless pants. They would just be like, "Learn to sew sewing."
No, no. I'm sure there's folks who want split crotch pants. Don't tell me in today's day and age there's not a market for split crotch pants.
Like even with
They're
my span,
chaps.
I have all my grandfather's old suspenders. I wear them around the house with my stance on. I like it. I like it.
I am kind of on Foundations Revealed. They just sent me a thing to make sure I was still paying attention. I'm not a paying member, but I do watch their stuff. And oh, poor Kathy Hayes. I don't know whether I feel bad for Kathy Hayes that she gets herself into these weird, apparently bizarre, culturally appropriative moments, or whether people are just
Who's Kathy
butthurt
Hayes?
and prissy. I don't get it.
Who's Kathy
They
Hayes?
doing a ruffle skirt about 2 or 4 weeks ago. I think not quite sure. Maybe. Oh, I will have to look into that because
Is she a
that
controversial YouTuber?
in yes and no. She is from England, and last year she got people were mad at her because she wanted to make this peacock dress that was a Worth gown worn by some English noble lady in India, and it didn't go over well.
Okay, so I know this
And
is
I,
gonna hurt people's feelings, but I'm gonna say, like, I truly do not understand cultural appropriation, and I'm gonna say this because I've been excommunicated out of certain groups. I was raised in the suburbs, so technically everything I do is cultural appropriation. If you really think about it, I listen to a lot of gangster rap. I wasn't raised. I listen to a lot of stuff in certain neighborhoods. I listen to a lot of Norwegian death metal. I'm not from Norway, but I'm obsessed with Norwegian death metal.
let's see here. She had trouble with this one article of clothing that someone claimed was inappropriate. Yeah, that was the peacock dress, that Worth gown from last year. And then there was something funny that happened with the competition this year, that she pissed off one of her judges, and then they had to do this a big apology tour thing for not being sensitive enough.
Do you think
I
that's why I don't have a ton of followers because I'm weirdly insensitive like that? Like I would double down and get super canceled. Like I would be like, you know what? This is my position. I'm not here to
Right. Well,
hurt
I think
anybody.
that's more like the like Eric July stance of like monetize your haters and just lean into it. And I completely get it. I think she's bending the knee, and I don't even know. It feels weird
Because I'll tell you,
because
like, I
I'm
got
not
hate
Indian.
mail.
I'm not British. I don't. I like that's. Not, I don't know.
I got hate mail for making a scarf. So I went straight to Hobby Lobby and got more African print and made a shirt. You're not gonna tell me what I can and cannot wear,
I
you
know
know?
Indian wax print is amazing and
Yes.
beautiful. Like, why I'm gonna make a corset and bloomers out of it. Like, who can I just appreciate the love of the fabric and not
People got mad
make
at me
somebody
for
butt hurt?
people got mad at me for my cape that I made that was an Indian god. It was a bath curtain.
Right? So like, right, exactly. Like, you've already been
Desecrated.
irreverent by being on a bath curtain. I salvaged you from wicking water off while somebody showers naked with you, so I can make you a garment.
Yeah, I lined it and put a button on it, you know, like oh,
Oh, let's see here. The woman that originally had that made was the first that kept bringing up Indian independence.
oh.
Oh, so this is like stuff. This was like the peacock dress was made literally 100 years ago. So Kathy Hayes is getting bought her shit on for something, a poor choice, weird choice from something that happened 100 years ago that she had
So
nothing to do with and just wanted to recreate making a beautiful dress.
to
And
play
she
devil's
hired
advocate.
Indian embroiderers
Oh,
to
okay.
do the embroidery for the dress. Like, was attempting to
Appease to the mob.
and spending a fair amount of money to get the like, this was super intricate, beautiful embroidery. Like, oh my god, so weird.
But where is that line? Because like, how do you to play devil's advocate? How do you feel about Kim Kardashian wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress?
Yeah, that was a. I'm not gonna get as butthurt as it. I think it was a poor choice as far as like dress not conversations, dress historical dress conversations. I can't. Nope, that's still not the right word. In regards to historical dress conservation, I don't think that that was the best choice. But as far as you have access to a beautiful dress that's still wearable, why shouldn't we wear things? I think it's
So
hard.
so if I was able to purchase Louis the 15th cape would it be cultural appropriation if I wore it to the grocery store? Like dragged it in the freaking parking lot and everything and just
I think that would be a whole bunch of line of other poor choices that, as far as a like lover of beautifully made clothing, I think I'd get mad. I think I'd get mad at you for other stuff before I got mad at you for the cultural appropriation.
have you so you know Madonna made this song Vogue. Um
Yeah. Oh yeah.
she was literally copying the ballroom people from the 80s and the 90s. They were African American people who had pageants, you know. And there was a show called Pose, which was freaking cosplay. They took characters and they went out into outer space with them. But they had this one scene where this person who lived in real life, but they didn't do this, but it's the people from Paris is Burning, but they made a show about it. But they broke into the Met and they got all the clothes from the 16th century and they wore it at a ball. And
Yeah, I think
every
that's I don't think that's appropriation. I think that's not understanding and appreciating the value and the delicacy of the garments. It's like the same thing about the stupid folks who are gluing themselves and pouring cans of Campbell's tomato soup on paintings. Like that's I think that's those both fall into the same tub for me.
you would see in LA, like you would they make people regret it. You would get jail time. They would shame you. Where I live, like it's not like in the UK where they're like, oh, we're gonna talk this out. You are gonna get paraded in front of a judge. They're gonna make you famous. You're gonna go to county. Like I would not recommend damaging artwork. And here, New York, like I would not
I
recommend
don't
it.
recommend damaging artwork either, and that's why Marilyn's dress was a piece of artwork that got defiled. And I don't think Kim K. I don't care for her as a. I don't even care,
Okay,
but
but
I
so
don't think
because
she realized she knew what she was doing.
but are you saying that because like and keep in mind I'm an emotional human. I base a lot of things on my opinions. Are you saying that because you don't like her? What if Katy Perry
No, I'm
was
giving
wearing
her
the
the
dress?
benefit of the doubt. I'm saying I don't think she knew that she was going to get hate for wearing that dress. I think in my heart of hearts, that's an iconic dress, and I would be like, "Hey, if my butt fit in that dress and I could wear it to this fancy event, you will sew me into this thing for these 5 hours, and I'm going to strut my ass off, and I'm going to go to the subway and do that, lift my skirt up over the vents. I'm going to recreate that. That's so, no, I think her handlers misled her in
Yeah,
thinking that that dress was a good idea, but I don't think that she was like knowingly. I don't. I think she made it was a whole line of porch.
do you know
I
what's
don't know
really
if I'm
funny?
making any sense
No,
anymore, but
no, you're right. She needs real people in her life. Like my mom absolutely adores my sewing, but I'll walk in and she's like, "Bro, you missed a seam, and that shirt's 2 sizes too big." Like she'll tell the truth. Like she'll be like, "No,
yeah,
that was a miss." She'll be like, "No, that's a miss, bro." Like that's a miss. Like she'll tell me to my face, like, "Nah, man." Like or she'll be like, "Oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen." Like she's extremely honest, you know,
right.
and I
Or
need
maybe Ripley's was like, "We're losing money, Kim K. We need you to wear this dress so people
that.
talk about us and go to our museums because it's been the end of times and we're hurting. We have this piece where it because I don't think Ripley's is the best curators of historical garments.
I agree. No, no, no.
That's not their forte.
They have like mummies and dried alligators and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, let's see here. From the words of wisdom, Marilyn's dress was tailored. No one is built like that. So the dress, so that dress would have been damaged. Yeah, it was, and it was. We are still here. I know. I can't believe we're still here. My human is not here, so I'm making foolish
you know,
choices.
we don't warm up unless we're like an old truck. You know, it
Right.
takes us a minute to warm up.
Seriously. Yeah, let's see here. The owner just wanted the rental money, no matter what the
True.
cost, more like the dress will go up in value now that two famous people were it. Yes, I think Ripley made a business decision and not a historical dress conservation
I learned that with
decision. And
the.
those are two different arguments that we can argue all the sides of it.
I learned that renting out that hall. I've told the story about the rugby players.
Yeah,
Like they were everybody else is so clean, but these people were just slobs. I learned that lesson. Like being money grubbing doesn't always pay off. Like because I was getting money hand over fist because people were renting out the hall every weekend, but then they started trashing my stage. You know,
right? Don't trust this. I know. I'm like, I want to come down and perform on that stage. Like my hoops, some cute
you
outfits on
you would
that giant
love it.
stage. I'm like, oh,
Do you want to know why? Do you know I do spatial perception, but like this stage is made like I'm tall on that stage. So if you're taller than me, you're literally your head is it's not made for tall people is what I'm trying to spit out.
it's made for me, and I want a whole stage to myself to have access to all the time.
Oh, it's the weirdest thing. I go like I play music and one day I'm gonna put in my bloopers because it's awkward being in a giant room by yourself.
No, it's not.
Well, when I'm trying to like, I put music on because I get that's why I get inspired and I start doing my my
Cat
model
on
pose.
the catwalk. Do,
It's
do.
different though. Like in the gym, I love being in the gym by myself because I could skate for hours. And
Yeah.
I have a hockey net in there. I can put a hockey net on both sides. Like I have the key.
If you can't find me on the gym in the gym is your note on the office on your chair.
I've learned. I like I said, man. I work hard and I play hard. I get all my work done. And I only do that stuff on the weekends because I am part of the ownership, so I have to show some responsibility.
Right. You can't look like a hooligan.
I can't I'm not doing that on a Tuesday.
Right.
Plus, I'm not this chipper at 5:30 in the morning. My
Oh
eyebrows are here
hell
for a
no.
reason. It's me and the coyotes are howling. We're out there.
Oh my god, I got a phone call yesterday morning. Speaking of coyotes, actually it was about a fox, but at my office there's this feral cat, Sweetie, who I'm gonna guess is at least 12 years old because I think
Oh
she's been
wow.
around as long as I've been around my office. And one of her food handlers called and was like, hey Hands, long
I was
time no
wondering where you
see.
were.
We think there's a fox because Sweetie was way up in the tree and didn't want to, like, they had to woo her down with snacks.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a fox. That's something bigger than
Than she is, right? And I have seen foxes there, but it's been years. But the weather's
every
weird. Foxes are coming down from the hills because, you know.
same around here. Every once in a while, I'll see an exodus of cats on my camera, and I'm like, the raccoon's coming. Because
Yeah,
cats are smart. They're smart. You'll see 4 or 5 of them. Like they're like a little biker gang. They're like, let's get out of here.
we can't take it anymore.
Oh, cats are so smart.
They are.
Hands
Oh,
because I wasn't feeling well, if you guys feel like laughing, I had my mom make me chicken and rice. And I grew up, I'm half black and half Mexican, but I grew up around my mom's parents. So I grew up very Hispanic in a lot of ways. And I was always at my grandma's house. My grandma would always make chicken and rice. And it's this elaborate recipe with like cream of celery, cream of mushroom, chicken stock.
elaborate with all these tins of soup are
Okay,
the first
so
ingredients.
I thought it was like this like Mexican specialty. And one day I look at my mom. My mom's like, "Bro, that's a Campbell soup recipe from the 40s." I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed with it.
That's not elaborate. That's
I'm
better living
obsessed.
by chemistry, selling your grandparents hard.
My My mom laughs whenever I'm like, I'm sick. Will you make me some chicken and rice? And she's like, I can't believe you still love that Campbell's because she grew up on it. My grandma would make Mexican food. That's all she made. And so when she made this, it was special. I didn't know it was a
Right?
Campbell soup
That was her
recipe.
being that was her like on an off day. She's like, I don't feel like cooking, so I'm gonna open some tins.
Greatest thing ever. Great. And it solidifies when it solidifies like the chicken and
Oh, Allie, that's
it's the
too
gear.
funny. My friend's cat had a raccoon pet that played, and they played together. That's adorable. Yeah, that's not Loki. I can't. Oh my god, I cannot believe that cat spent 6 hours in the shed cowering. I opened that door at least 3 times and shook the snack sack to see if there. And I did. He was
Animals just
hiding
get me.
way in the backest corner next to. Oh my god,
I He went on an adventure and he's just not telling us. Thank
he
you,
did.
butterfly. Thank you. I grew up on
Yeah.
Campbell's soup recipes.
Yes, cream of chicken, or no, cream of mushroom soup is still one of my jams.
It makes sense. My grandma was from the Depression era, like
Right, so that was something, it was super fancy for her because,
and Mex and let's be real, like ethnic food. Like I have a friend who's Vietnamese, and I asked her the question because it's the same thing with Mexican food. I was like, "Is Vietnamese food like in Vietnam really cheap?" She says, "Heck yeah!" And I was like, "Why is it so expensive in America?" She's like, "Because they can charge the yuppies." It's the same thing. Like the Mexican food that we eat, we get overcharged for because everybody eats it in Mexico. They make it in their house, from scratch.
yeah. Though I
It's
still
just
want to
funny.
find that place that has pierogies and, oh, what was that? That other Mexican pairing. It was pierogies and something. Oh, damn it.
Oh, we have reached the food portion of the
I
evening.
know, I'm getting hungry. Wow, it's 9 o'clock on a
I've had a
school night.
cold.
And
I've had a cold, so I've been like get in the car, kid. We're gonna go get pancakes. Like, let's go get a burger that's this big for no reason. Like, what's the saying? You starve a fever, feed a cold.
there's no medical, legal, financial. There's no advice here. If you
Yeah.
accidentally wrote something, it was an accident, and I apologize. Oh, let's see here. That does sound good. They also had Campbell soup recipes under the label. You can find them online now. Disney gave out cards of their famous items too online as well. And if you
Oh
need some new
wow.
cards on the America's Untold Stories, there's going to be the trading cards for the Kennedy assassinations
Oh
should be
wow.
out soon. So if you want special 60th anniversary trading cards,
You know what's funny you would say that? I have a bunch of Casper, like they're from Tops, but they're from the movie Casper, and
yeah.
Christina Ricci is in them. And I looked them up recently, and they're worth money. I'm so glad I like my because my parents were like collectors. They would say, "Hey, buy one to open and buy one to keep unopened."
Oh, that's a good.
I
Yep.
have full Marvel box sets unopened of cards from
Ooh.
1994. If I ever truly go broke, you'll see stuff like that for sale. If I'm hurting, you'll see that for sale. I would sell that before I would sell my sewing machines. Let's just put it that way.
Well, you get rid of the electrics first, because in the end of days times, all you need is a treadle and a hand crank for good measure. Because
There was this
I'm
woman.
biased.
There was this woman I watched who she was a sewing machine hoarder, and she said during COVID, all of a sudden people were buying sewing machines, and she said she felt like one of those people who sell watches under their coat. Because someone would be like, I need a sewing machine. And she'd be like, what kind do you need? And she made money. She made a ton of money during COVID because all of a sudden everybody was sewing.
Yeah, fortunately, I did not need to buy a sewing machine back then because I had
Oh, I,
plenty of. I
oh man, I sewed my tail off. I sat here and was just nervous sewing.
Oh, Allie has the Dukes of Hazard cards and Mash. Oh my god, you are a wealth of everything interesting. I'm gonna have to do a call-in show where I'm gonna get a Google number just so you can call in and talk. You don't have if that's gonna be how we get you on. I will get a Google number again so you
You
can
and
call
Kilroy. You and
in.
Kilroy.
Yes, I will find a way because you fascinate me, you humans, and I love hearing a good story.
I love people who know things like about sewing machines. I am because I make clothes, I'm obsessed with I'm more of the collector. I'm gonna have a museum. And it's gonna be called the Godless Sewing Museum too, just to tick off all the weirdos.
You can name your museum however you want. Mine's just gonna be the circus, but I know my lane, and I'm like, oh, and I've unthreaded my needle again, and it's 9 o'clock. Okay.
Well,
Whoa.
I'll I'll be is that like a Zoom call? Do you know what's really funny?
No, you don't. Oh, go ahead, and then I'll speak.
Sorry, really quickly. The Zoom whatever package I have does not work on this computer. I have to use my old Mac to use Zoom. It's the weirdest thing. I hate Zoom. I hate Zoom. But I use it.
I do too. No, it's not like a Zoom call. Like, literally, you just set up a Google number that's a phone number that's not your own, and I just hook the audio up. So you don't need to be on camera. You just need to, like, literally call me, and I'll patch it through on the live stream.
Oh.
Like a call-in show from like the 90s when you called into your favorite radio host, but it's the circus and I don't expect to be anybody's favorite.
There's a few podcasts that I listen to that have actually there's only two that I listen to that have phone numbers. I think it's weird that people call them. I think it's the weirdest thing on planet Earth. Especially there's this podcast I listen to, it's called Sloppy Seconds. And people leave the most weird, like, oh, they leave the most weird messages. Did you get some chicken and rice? I'm gonna go in there and attack it in a minute.
Yeah,
I've been talking about
like
it.
folks are being Viking, getting ready to go Viking. I have to put myself back in the cupboard. So drop me ideas. I'm thinking of something like OTT that like a stupid fluffy ball gown, but I'm not going to do a train. Why put a train on a dress? It's just going to get dirty. What is your name on FR Discord? I'm on there every day. I have
Do we
not been
still
on
have a
Discord in a
Discord?
while. Okay, let me take a picture. I will figure out this FR Discord, and it's probably going to be my handle that I try to use everywhere because
Let's see if my Discord's still open. Oh, it's not. Is it? Yeah, my mic's on. Oh, it's
okay, I'll figure this out. I'll find this Discord server, but I think I do have a Discord handle. I think everything's Venus Girl.
I hate these. Okay, click on all the images that are a plant. Does tequila count as a plant?
It is an agave plant. Yes, tequila is a plant. I mean,
Oh, they probably got rid of my account. I'm there
oh,
under Godless
Foundation
Sewing.
Discord. No, I have to see what I need to do to get access to this. I'll figure this out, human.
I have
I got eyes on you because you are too smart to not interact with more.
Let's see on my
And
phone
like
if
my
I
snack dealer and my human and I have started to make up because there were some things that were weird, but they helped me look for my kitty, and whether it was a peace offering because I was a particular or not, I did walk home with a bottle of nice vodka. So
That's a total. Oh, come on. That's like
Oh
you
yeah, no, I
know,
know. I'm like that. I'm considering that like you've
that's
made your
armistice.
amends. You helped look for my cat and bought me a and let me walk off with a bottle of not shabby vodka that doesn't taste like poison water. We're okay again.
Oh, that reminds me. Okay, we'll end with this. 'Cause I know you're trying to jump. Um,
You're
I
hungry. We're all trying to jump.
I'm starving. No, it's because I remembered I have biscuits in the fridge too, so I will make some
Oh,
biscuits.
chicken rice and biscuits. You need some more protein. You've got carb on carb. You need to get your
I I
diabetes checked.
I obsessive. I know. Isaiah has been saying that to me lately. He flat out said in front of his mom too, because she'll hound me. He was like, "I think you have diabetes and you get hypoglycemic." And my ex wife was like, "How do you even know what that? What's hypoglycemic?" You know, we challenge him. You know, like what does that
Right?
mean to you? But because all this
It's
drama's
not
been
a
going on.
what that
Oh,
means to
sorry.
you word. That word has very specific. It means one thing, and it means only one thing.
He said it correctly. He said it correctly. I get hoopy. If I don't eat, I do get loopy.
You
I
got the
get weird.
hangries.
I do. I for real. Like I need 3 square meals a day, and if I don't, it shows. Long story short, there's been a lot of drama in my neighborhood with my neighbor and everything, and like all the old neighbors, they love me. They know me. So there's somebody, and keep in mind, I moved back to my hometown. Never move back to your hometown. Big mistake. So I talked to my neighbor who I've literally known my entire life. He was like a failed minor league baseball player. They're always fun. Those guys are always fun. But I found out today, um, he's a corrupt contractor and he's being sued by like 15 people. We were talking and he's like, "Oh man, I love you. I've known you your whole life." He's like, "You think you got problems, man?" He's like, "Your life's great, bro." He's like, "I'm being sued by 15 people." My brain was like, "Oh, really?" So I won't
Yeah,
help you.
that's
I
one
won't.
too many. Or that's 14 too many.
You know what? I don't judge. I just won't have him help me put in my windows. I can't say without laughing now. Because
Yeah,
I need a new
no,
back
you're
window.
like, sorry, my friend, I'm gonna like ask somebody else for some assistance on this giant project.
Oh. Yes, tequila is a plant. No, it had one of those like click in the boxes for the pictures. I'm terrible at those.
Oh, I hate those catch buzz that right where you're like pick all the motorcycles and I guess them all and they still are like, why are you dumb? I'm like, what are you asking for?
Thank you. That was a trick question because they had a bottle of tequila, and I'm like, oh f. Like to me, that's a
Right? Like,
plant.
yes or
Like
no? Yeah.
Discord. I'm gonna figure out my Discord. But again, I was in there with the people I used to do a podcast with, so that page is probably nuked by now.
Oh my god! Thank you for everybody for stopping by earlier, stopping by later, and are gonna stop by tomorrow.
I'll be streaming, same bad time, same bad channel, 7 o'clock. I'm feeling a little bit better. Bleh, I can barely speak. My speech impediment comes out when I'm tired. I'm feeling better,
Fair.
so I'll be in my usual macho man Randy Savage ultimate warrior self.
Don't wait till tomorrow when you can be fabulous today, and don't laugh at others unless you've laughed at yourself. You are all amazing. Thank you for everything. Stay fabulous. All right, bye.
See you